Hello and welcome to another episode of my Productivity Mastery series. And today I'm going to do a quick review, if you like, of something called Readwise. Now, I'm also going to talk a little bit about Instapaper because that's another of the tools that I use to solve a particular problem. Now, what is Readwise? Now, Readwise is essentially an application that you can use to collect highlighted notes, you can use to collect quotes, you can use it to collect your book notes if you're reading on a Kindle or a digital reader. You can collect everything together into one place. Now, Readwise does the hard work by organizing it by book or article or whatever it is that you've been reading. Now, the beauty of using this system is quite often if you're ever having to write a report or you're doing a presentation or you might even be writing a book, you can actually collate all your quotes or interesting things that you've read, just highlight the sections, they will automatically get saved to Readwise, and then you've got a resource in your Notes app or in the Readwise app for all your quotations. I absolutely love this. I read a lot of books. Right now I'm actually reading two books at the same time. I'm reading a traditional book on Robert Maxwell. If you know who he is, he passed away quite a long time ago. He was a crook, but a very interesting life. And I'm also reading a book on my digital iPad. I can't remember the book I'm reading at the moment. I'm always reading something. But I like to collect the notes, and I'm particularly working in the productivity and time management field. I'm always collecting any book that I read, particularly a biography, where there's a section on productivity or how somebody does something, I'm highlighting. And I collect all that data, in my case, in Evernote, into my system. I know then that I've got all the quotes that I think are interesting and any paragraphs or whatever that comes from the book. Readwise is brilliant. Now, the problem this is solving is when you're normally reading an article or you're reading a book, where do you put all the quotes? Now, most people probably just save them into their notes and then they just get lost all over the place. With something like Readwise, and I should point out, by the way, Readwise is not sponsoring this video, but it's just a tool that I use, and I noticed I use it every single day so that I've got all my quotations and interesting sentences and paragraphs all saved in one simple place, so I can go and find it. Now, Readwise means I can search for stuff. It's just brilliant. Now, what about all those articles that we want to keep for future reference? Now, you can throw them into your notes, but once again, the problem with notes is unless you are fiercely curating and corralling and organizing your notes, which, let's be honest, most people are not doing, you are going to find that all these articles that you're saving are all over the place. Now, I generally try to keep my organize my notes every Saturday morning. I just usually give myself 30-40 minutes to organize whatever I've collected that week. But it's not consistent. But with something like Instapaper, I've got a place where I can just dump all these articles and I can read them at my leisure whenever I have time. Now, one thing I should do here is give you a quick tip here. If you actually want to read these articles and newsletters, because Instapaper allows you to forward newsletters to your Instapaper account, if you want time to be able to read these articles, you're the one responsible for finding the time. It's no good just collecting stuff saying, haha, aren't I clever, I'm collecting all this stuff, and then never reading it. The purpose of collecting that stuff is that you want to read it. So when in the day are you going to read it? Now, for me, I read all my news article or any articles that I should be honest here. Well, I'm always honest, I think. Anyway, one thing I should point out here is I stopped reading the news back in 2016 when the news it just felt that the news just became so negative and horrible and there was nothing positive. So instead now I use quite a few different tools, but one of the most important ones is I use I think it's called it just changed recently. I was using Wrangler or something to collect RSS feeds. RSS are where you can subscribe to a newsletter and it comes into a certain place. I don't want to go into the details on that. It's a little bit old-fashioned now, but it still works. So I have a system when I'm having my breakfast where I sit down for 30 minutes and I just read through all the stuff that I've collected. I avoid the news. Now, the great thing about this is I have basically built my own magazine in Instapaper without all the ads and quite a lot of times without all the images. So I can just focus on the article and read it. It's great. Now, I might collect 3 or 4 articles a day and I may only read 2 articles a day. It doesn't matter because Instapaper is just collecting. It is a magazine to pick up once or twice a day when I'm eating or when I'm just taking a quick breather, or I just want to, oh yeah, I collected an article, I just want to read that now. I can do that anytime. Instapaper is available on your mobile phone, your tablet, and of course web, so you can read things from your laptop if you wish. It's available wherever you want. Now, the great thing for me about Instapaper is that you can download all the articles to your phone, so you don't need a Wi-Fi connection. And that means whenever I'm flying, wherever I'm flying in the world, I just download all the Instapaper articles and boom, I have my own reading list when I'm on the plane. I like to read when I'm on the plane. So you've got a number of tools available to you now. Now, I think, if I remember correctly, Readwise is a paid service. Instapaper, as far as I remember, has a free version and a paid version, but I'm not trying to necessarily promote either of these tools. There are alternatives, although I haven't found an alternative to Readwise, but I believe there is one. Instapaper does have a competitor called Pocket. You could look at Pocket, which is just as good, does exactly the same thing. It just basically a place to collect all your articles. Now, one final tip on these articles in Instapaper. The great thing about this is what I do is anything, it's almost like I've got using Instapaper as a filter. So let's say I'm reading an article and think, oh, I haven't got time to finish this, I'm going to read this later. I send it to Instapaper. I come back to it later, and as I read it, I think, wow, this is actually really useful. It's got some useful resources and information that I may want to do in a video, in a course, or in a book that I'm writing. So what I will then do is I will send it to my resources section of my notes under the appropriate title. So it could be leadership, productivity, time management, or applications, or something like that. I will then send it there, so I have my own library that I'm building over time. And that's the thing. All these resources that we have, they're not there to solve an immediate problem. They're there to help you build your own library of information. That's what they're there for. You don't have to keep every single article. You don't have to keep every single quotation that you save. One of the great things about Readwise is that Readwise emails you, if you turn it on, emails you every single day with, I think if I remember correctly, it's 5 of your recent or of your highlights that you've collected. It's like a refresher of everything. I love getting that email. For me, it comes in at round about, I think it's 9 p.m. every day. I absolutely love it because it's full of quotations that I found inspiring at some point in the past. So there you go. I just wanted to cover that side of the productivity world because we often wonder, where are we going to put all our digital resources? Well, there's services out there that can help you to keep all these digital resources together, and it's really going to help you just to save time. But don't ever feel under pressure that you must read everything now. You don't. This is where you just keep them, and when you've got time, you can just sit down and read them and delete, archive, or send to your notes as required. Well, there you go. Thank you so much for watching this episode, and it just remains for me now to wish you all a very, very productive week.